Covering news where you live, this is 5 News.
Well, thank you for joining us here on this Thursday for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Joe Ellison.
And I'm Tiffany Lee. On this Halloween, people who live in neighborhoods in Prairie Grove woke up to a bit of storm damage after a powerful storm rolled through our area overnight.
Yeah, some homes were damaged, trees toppled. You're looking at pictures here, thousands without power Thursday morning. These are pictures from our 5 News crew taken there on Sedgwick Drive in Prairie Grove.
The police department confirms damage to the aquatic park and baseball complex.
Now, we'll get to more news for you in just a minute, but first, it is Halloween, and many want to know if it'll be raining for trick-or-treaters this evening.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check in with Zach for a check of that forecast.
Yeah, it's a pretty good forecast for our evening. I'll show you that in just a second. Before we get there, a nice fall day for Halloween, just all around looking pretty good. The rain is pushing out early this morning, and as we go towards 8 o'clock, the last few sprinkles in the river valley should be wrapping up. After that, everyone's just drying out. Clouds will be on the decrease through the morning into the afternoon hours. Highs in the 60s today. Behind the cold front that brought the storms overnight, we've got a north breeze driving in that cooler air, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So again, it's actually fall outside for Halloween day. This is a brief cool down, and then we'll warm back up. I know we've had a lot of warm weather through the month of October, but we're not getting it for today. Halloween will feel like Halloween. Upper 60s, low 70s. We've got that north breeze as well. Again, pretty cool day. As we get into the evening, that north breeze 5 to 15 miles per hour really drops off. We'll have winds less than 10 miles per hour likely, closer to around 5 to 8 mile per hour breeze. Clear skies. After sunset, we start to drop into those 50s in northwest Arkansas. So on the chilly side, yes, shouldn't have to layer up too much and completely ruin those outfits, but a jacket or an extra layer definitely needed probably when we get into those 50s. River Valley, we're going to hold those 50s off as long as we can. We'll get there by the overnight hours. We should be making our way through the 60s with some lower 60s by 8.
Thanks for that. Well, don't forget about your pets and their safety this Halloween. Remember, chocolate can be toxic for dogs. According to the American Kennel Club, the risk of your dog becoming sick from ingesting chocolate depends on the type and the amount of chocolate consumed. Cocoa powder is the most toxic. And the American Vet Medical Association recommends making sure your pets have identification, microchip, collar, and ID tag that will make it easy for someone to contact you in case your pet escapes through an open door while you're distracted with trick-or-treaters.
And if you're looking for some spooky activities in our area today, we've got you covered. Fayetteville will host its 3rd annual Trick or Treat on the Trail in the Lower Ramble. Families can walk around from 4 to 6:30, and Ghouls on Garrison is returning to downtown Fort Smith. Local merchants will hand out treats from 5 to 8 this evening. You can find a list of other Halloween events on our website, 5newsonline.com.
Well, the Greenwood community is mourning the loss of 3 community members after a house fire.
Crews arrived on the scene on East Hickory Street early Wednesday morning.
Police say 46-year-old Wendy Medrano, her 5-year-old daughter Vivian, and her older son Isaiah Arrington died. Investigators say the cause of the fire is unknown at this time, but the fire is not believed to be related to any of the grass fires in the area.
Meanwhile, those left behind are remembering the family.
We just got to keep our heads high. We're all going to get through this. Things like this happen in life, but we have to stay strong together. The only way we're going to get through it is stay together. So.
While they didn't want to speak on camera, family tells us that Wendy owned the House Collective consignment store and loved her community. Vivian's grandparents said that they picked her up on Tuesday, not knowing it would be their last time. Well, we're entering that time of year when viruses and illnesses are ramping up. So far, both flu and COVID remain relatively low in Arkansas.
But 39 people died from pneumonia last week. And as Ashley Godwin shows us, doctors are seeing a typical bacteria strain affecting people in Arkansas.
You know, a 10-fold, 20-fold, 30-fold, if not abruptly more than that.
As we look to cooler temperatures, that's usually a good sign that we are heading into virus season. But the beginning of this season is looking very different.
Probably in the last 5 years of me practicing, I've written the specific antibiotics we use for walking pneumonia maybe 6 times. I wrote them 6 times today and yesterday.
Not only does Joshua Lyon from Alford Kids Pediatric Clinic and the Arkansas Department of Health report higher numbers of pneumonia, but there's also a type of the illness that can have atypical symptoms, called walking pneumonia.
It's a lot of what it sounds like there, right? So these are kids who aren't necessarily running giant fevers every day or having just this terrible, awful cough, but kids who are having or adults who are having more this persistent, slow, indolent, progressing cough and these slow little fevers and just feeling run down pretty persistently.
So how do you prevent from getting sick? The usual: washing your hands often, being mindful when around groups of people, and staying home when you're not feeling well.
And don't be afraid to call your doctor's office and talk about it. These are weirder things that we don't deal with all the time.
And with pneumonia, it's not a virus that will go away on its own. It's a bacterial infection that needs to be treated.
So these are things with that walking pneumonia especially, they persist and they're very hard to get rid of and don't go away usually until we start treating them with our antibiotics.
Well, those are some of your top headlines. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
I'm Tiffany Lee, and that's Joe Ellison. Have a great day.